So given that we've talked about anime titties for the last 2 episodes, let's talk about a more innocent topic. Speedrunning, aka the most impressive sport you will ever watch in your entire life. I'm Mike Dangerous, and this is Talking Shots.
Sword sheath, it's the return of the blade and slice shade, getting painted to my silhouette fades. A mercenary, spit to levy versus scary shade, doing girlies dirty, splitting with obituaries. Death is not a factor, more than just a rapper packing hash up in the.
For some reason, it's human nature to be competitive at literally everything. Just built a horseless carriage? Let's race them. Figured out how to make a ball not a ball? Let's slam into each other and see who can get that not ball to the other side first. Our sport doesn't even use a ball. When it comes to video games, it's only natural for us to want to compete. Hell, that's why esports is getting as big as it is. But not every game was built to be competitive. What about games that were meant to be a single player experience? Well, if you're a sad and lonely person like me, you beat that game as fast as you can. Okay, so what exactly is speedrunning? Its basic definition is getting to the end credits of a game as fast as possible. There's 3 basic types of speedruns. 100% speedrun generally means completing every aspect of the game, which usually translates to get all the collectibles. Any percent means getting to the end of the game, with the actual percentage of completion being irrelevant. And lastly, tool-assisted speedruns or task runs. This means using tools such as emulation to place button presses at specific frames. Generally, this is done for techniques that are considered too impossible for humans to achieve. Another popular term to remember is RNG, or random number generator. This is basically what's responsible for random random events in a game, such as enemy placement. RNG generally isn't a speedrunner's friend because it leaves a lot of elements to chance. Just remember that when you need them most, you gotta pray to RNG. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when players started speedrunning. Games like Super Mario Bros. May have started that trend because players would play through the early levels so often because of the lack of a save feature. Games like Sonic the Hedgehog would later capitalize on this. However, one of the earliest games to have an example of a reward for fast completion was Metroid on the NES. Beating the game in less than 5 hours netted the now classic twist ending that, spoiler alert, Samus was a girl. Beating the game in lesser time increments would net the better endings with less clothing, and you got to see some 8-bit titty. Not full titty, but titty. This would continue to be a trend for the Metroid series, which would be the first to establish the 100% runs. Into the 90s, and the advent of online message boards. Doom, of all games, was actually a really popular contender for speedruns. One of the lesser known features of the original Doom was the ability to record and save demo files of your runs. In 1994, a god named Frank Stahano created the Doom Horrific Titles, or the DHT. The DHT was basically a place where players would play under different rules called exams. The exams would require beating every enemy in a level, or beating the game with only the pistol and the fist, or the ever-popular pacifist mode, where the goal was to get to the end of a level without killing any monsters. Later that year, Compete N was launched, which had more of a focus on time-oriented challenges. Players would have to get through a level as fast as possible in order to stay on leaderboards. This would go on to inspire other leaderboards to do the same for their game, Twin Galaxies being one such site. They had offered a $100 bounty for anybody who could beat the original Legend of Zelda in under 36 minutes in 2003. A player named Tom Badana did it in 34 minutes. However, the following year, the most important game not only to speedrunning as a sport, but as a spectator sport, would drop. You see, Mario 64 on the surface seems like an odd choice for speedrunning given its non-linear style of gameplay. However, in 2004, the first recorded speedrun of that game was a 120-star run by Spider-Man 88mm. With the prior year's discovery of the backwards long jump, or the BLJ, and the MIPS glitch, players began to record any percent speedruns of the game. Shortly after Spider's run, the first 16-star run was recorded for the game. Speaking of BLJs, that was the first run of that technical expertise to be circulated online. What's interesting about these videos is that initially they started circulating to help other runners with their runs. It wasn't until YouTube and Twitch, though, that speedrunning became a popular spectator sport. It was around this time that we would see more and more recorded runs circulating online. Sonic 2, Mega Man 2, Mario Kart 64, Half-Life, Ocarina of Time would all have communities that would decrease the times of these games more and more with every run. With more and more people uploading and streaming their runs, an audience for this type of speedrun began to grow. And in 2010, the first ever Games Done Quick was held. GDQ changed the way the public saw speedrunning. It wasn't just a bunch of nerds playing games anymore. It was skilled players raising money to fight cancer. GDQ is a place where we would see records beaten and things that were thought to be humanly impossible being done live. GDQ would be split into two different events: Awesome Games Done Quick and Summer Games Done Quick, with SGDQ raising over $2 million in 2017. They raised $1 million in a single day. That's fucking lit. Events would even be organized for natural disaster relief, the most recent being the Harvey Relief in 2017. Not bad for a hobby that started on old internet forums and VHS tapes.
So chief, it's the return of the blade and slice shade getting paid.
So what do you guys think? What are some games that you guys love to see speedruns of? Who are your favorite runners? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So this week's magic sauce is Fat Tire New Belgium. It's pretty lit. It's not too strong. It doesn't really linger with you. It's something you can sip sort of all night and not really notice it. I mean, hell, I drank the entire thing over the entirety of this video. And if you like blondes, you're probably gonna like this. So I found this at a local gas station for about $4. It's pretty good. And if you're on the way So yeah, always remember, guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and always remember to drink responsibly. I'm Mike Dangerous, and this is Talking Shots.